So hi everybody, this is Frank Clifford. I'm delighted to introduce another Astrologer Frank Answers. Feel welcome to email me via the school, get yourself a free account and email me, and I'll do my best to answer any specific questions you have about your own chart or any general questions you have about astrology. So let's take a look at the one I'm looking at today. Okay, now I've had an email from this young girl's mother about this young girl's chart. Now, she's 10 years old at the time of recording this, and I've chosen this because it brings up a few ethical issues. And I'm going to tread very carefully, and I'm going to explain why I'm looking at this chart as well. First of all, I'm always very hesitant in looking at somebody else's chart. And I've learned that over the years. I've made too many mistakes and said things that I shouldn't have said, or peeked at charts. And you learn by trial and error. That's one of the things that we all have to go through as consultant astrologers. And sometimes parents want you to look at their child's horoscope. Now, I tend to have a rule in my head that if the child is sort of 10 or under, I'll look at the chart for the parent, but I will focus on the positive. I'll focus on the proactive, positive things to look at, the talents, the opportunities, the lovely things in the chart. That's what I'll do. Because, first of all, the child, there are lots of ethical issues here, but the child hasn't asked for it directly. The parent may worry if you say anything that you're anxious about, and there's no dialogue with the actual person whose chart you're reading as well. So there's a lot of different issues. I could spend a long time talking about that, but just want to say that generally I don't. And when the child gets to about 11, 12, and there's a sense of perhaps more independence, it's a bit like being invited to read somebody's diary, and I just wouldn't do that. So I would say to the parent, well, you could get a computerized report. You go to the astrology shop in London, that wonderful little shop in Covent Garden, or you could just print a few things out online that are positively written and nicely done, because wait for the child to get to a certain age where they come and they're interested in their chart, and we can talk about it face to face. So there's an age when I've noticed over the years that children will object, maybe 11, 12, 13 and beyond, don't really want their mums or their dads having their chart read for them. Okay, so that's the first thing. And so parents may have heard something negative and have been worried about it. And we know that if you're studying astrology and you're a parent, the first thing you're going to do is look at your child's sun or moon, depending on whether you're their mum or dad or mum, and think, oh my goodness, what problems have they got? That sort of thing. People do that all the time. And we should move away from that type of thing, of that sort of anxiety, and just often just let the chart speak and let the child develop, and just, I would say, have the chart in the back of your mind of what they may need and bring it to the fore should the child need that, or should there be some help via the horoscope. But it's often parents who want their children's charts read are control freaks. Not always, but they can be. And I've learned the hard way and saying, well, let's just focus on your chart rather than your child's chart, because I don't want to be feeding any anxiety or any worry or control issues. Okay. But having said that, the mother wrote to me and said, can you tell me a bit more about this quadruple conjunction here in the seventh house, and how my daughter can use this in the best way possible in her career and life in the future. Okay. Now that to me gives me an opportunity to focus on the positive, not talk about relationship issues that might come up with the seventh house, of course, but to focus on the Mercury, Mars, Neptune. And that's really like a fount of creativity. And it's in Pisces as well. Yeah. So at its very best, it's going to be inspirational. The words, the actions, Mercury, Mars, are going to be inspirational to other people. It could be somebody whose words really inspire people to keep the faith, to keep up hope. And of course, that could very well develop into a job later on where you're encouraging people, you're motivating people. You might be an agent, or you might be somebody that's yes, an acting agent or a creative manager that inspires people to use their creativity. It could also be a teacher, for instance, because we see that that quadruple conjunction is also linked to Jupiter in the 10th house. So it may be about writing about people's experiences, relationship experiences. Pisces is the Good Samaritan, helping the lost and the found. And maybe the lost and the found, or bringing the lost and found together in some way. And what I really mean by that is it's one of those signs that can give a tremendous amount to other people in very unconditional, beautiful blessings at its very best. Any planets you've got in Pisces, see them as compassionate blessings, being able to do that for somebody else, free of charge. Yeah? Mercury, Mars in Pisces, for instance, is being able to just give a kind word to people, giving them hope, writing letters to people. Pisces, Virgo, often signs linked to animals, animal welfare, etc. This could well be somebody who's interested in rescuing animals, or having pen pals in different parts of the world, trying to make people's lives better. It's very devotional in a beautiful way. The Chiron as well speaks about being able to heal people through that, being able to say, yes, I relate to that. That resonates with me. I understand how deeply you feel about that. Yeah. It may be somebody who's very good at empathizing and sympathizing. Yeah. It's got true empathy and can really express that with other people. Yeah. We know this is going to be a hugely sensitive person with the Moon Pluto conjunction. And in the sign of Capricorn, they're going to be very aware of a duty to help the world in some way, taking on responsibilities in that way, to work hard, to not just be somebody that takes and takes and takes and doesn't think about giving back. Wherever we find planets in Capricorn, usually that's a part of the chart that's willing to work hard, willing to be dedicated for the long-term future. Yeah. So this stellium, coming back to your question in the 7th house, has a tremendous potential to be giving to people. But as I always say with Pisces, devotion is divine, but it's important to have some boundary as well. And sometimes people with strong Pisces energy give so much, they lose themselves in the process. And so the important thing is always to make sure your daughter's aware of boundaries, of saying, okay, I've done enough. I'm a bit tired now. I'm going to go swimming, dancing. I'll go on a photography course and just feed my creativity a little bit more, rather than be necessarily on another cause or helping other people. Yeah. So it's got to be a mix of the creative that really feeds the soul and doing something for others that really helps them find their way. Pisces is the great fisherman, in the sense that of teaching. It's the sign, obviously, of Christianity. It's a sign of those that 2,000-year stretch of the Pisces age that we're coming out of, really. and it's a devotional energy that that is it's got natural wisdom, natural empathy, but it does need time away from that sometimes to balance life. So that's probably all I'm going to say about the chart for now. Whatever you may have read, if it feels negative, if it's upset you in any way, discard it. Don't be focusing on that. Um, don't, I always say to people, be a little bit guarded with your own chart until you know the person you're giving it to. Because we can put a chart out like this, and then in a group, somebody says, oh, that means this. And all of a sudden, you've taken that on board and you worry about it. Yeah. And people are trying to be kind, or they're trying to express what they've learned. And instead, they say something that is actually quite destructive or upsetting. So if the reason you're asking more about the chart and this area of the chart is because somebody said something or you're worried about it, put that to one side and just focus on feeding the imagination, feeding this very inspired energy that your daughter has. So I wish you well with it. Feel very welcome to email back and let me know a little bit more about this beautiful dreamer that you have in your home. And I hope this has been a useful peek into her chart. Okay. Final word. Feel very welcome to check the school out online. We've always got new events coming up, lots of open house sessions and freebies and different things. So signing up for a free account, you get alerted to all of those upcoming events. So hopefully I'll see you online again soon. Thanks for listening and take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.